We're going to talk some McKinney North baseball now. They are the district champs from 13-4A. I'm joined by their head coach, Jim Gatewood. And Coach, you are the #1 ranked team in the 4A area for this DFW area. You're number 9 in the state poll. So this year, with that 24-1 record overall, how's it all come together for your squad?
Well, we've been very fortunate. A lot of things have fallen our way. We've been able to go through a season without a lot of people getting injured and some guys stepping up who we were hoping would play well for us. That didn't have a lot of experience. We're able to do that, and they played well for us. And you have to be fortunate to play as well as we have, along with having good players and everything falling into place. And we have been, but our guys have practiced hard and played hard all year, and we feel pretty good about where we're at.
Your one loss of the season was to Wiley East in district. What did your team learn from that loss, the first one they've had and the only one they've had?
Well, we knew going in there that they were very good, and we faced a very good pitcher. We kept it tight, and we lost the game, I think, in the 6th inning. And we knew we would see him again later in the year, and we did a couple of weeks ago at our place. And our guys just battle. We've been behind a lot and been able to come back, and so they don't panic. They really practice hard and play hard and feel like they're ready to go no matter what situation faces them during the game.
This was a tough district this year, 13-4A. You're the #1 team in the area. Wiley East is #3 and Lovejoy's #4. And then you have Sherman and Denison, who played you very tight throughout the year. So good experience going to the playoffs to not have one of those districts where maybe the wins are all blowouts and very easy going.
Yeah, I thought so too. Those guys are really good, and we also felt coming into this year, coming out of the district we did last year with Rockwall Heath and Rockwall and Highland Park that it would really help us this year. And I think a combination of that and this has really helped us.
Julian Pope this year 8-0 as a starting pitcher. Gabe Constantine 8-1. They both have low ERAs, good strikeout to walk ratios. What is it about them that have been able to be so effective this year?
Well, it's the three of them. They throw a lot of strikes, and they're around the plate a lot. And it's not just them, like we talked earlier. Herrera's been a great part of what we do. He's come out of the bullpen and has 10 saves. And, those guys will pitch deep into the game, and to where a lot of times if you don't have a good bullpen, you'll let those guys pitch out of some situations. And with Herrera, he affords us a chance to where we get to the 5th, 6th, or 7th, and it gets tied. Instead of them doing that, we'll go to him. And he's been very good. Like I said, he's got 10 saves. He hasn't given up a run in like 25 innings, and he's just been an outstanding third part of those three guys that we have in there.
That's what I was going to get to next. Herrera's been like Mariano Rivera, if you will, this year. He shut the door. He let up no earned runs so far on the season. And he's a submarine-style pitching, and that is quite different from what you're used to seeing as a hitter for an opposing team. You're used to guys throwing over their shoulder or possibly even sidearm. But with that submarine style, how does that vary the hitters?
Well, we've had success here. We had Scharf 3 or 4 years ago who was a great pitcher for us, who's at TCU now. And Herrera's a lot like him, a sinker, slider guy. He's able to throw that slider off his breaking ball off the plate, and then run the fastball in on him with some sink on it, and has some velocity too. A lot of those guys, they don't either have a good breaking ball or they don't have velocity, and he has both. And he's a tremendous competitor, like all three of those guys. And so he has a lot of confidence. We have a lot of confidence when he comes in the game, and he's been very good.
Offensively, certainly Herrera's another standout there with 30 RBIs, but your whole team, 1 through 9 in the order, hit exceptionally well. Several guys over 300 batting for this season, and really it can be any guy, any night.
I think that's what's the good part about this team, to where a lot of teams we've had that have been good, you've had 2 or 3 guys that you lean on. And this one, I think we have 8 guys in the order hitting over 300, and there'll be nights when some of the top guys in the lineup aren't swinging it, and some other guys have to step up, and we've been fortunate they've done that. But they've done a good job top to bottom, picking each other up and being very productive there.
How have you seen the growth throughout the year of guys like Preston Spears and Montana Sadler that have been those guys in the order that have produced for you?
Well, like we said, the good part about this team, a lot of these guys were coming back offensively from last year, and so we had a lot of experience, and they've been able to help those younger guys like the Travis Scalfs and Sidney Wiggins and guys who didn't get a lot of at-bats last year for us. The older guys have been able to help them along. And so you've seen those guys grow throughout the year to become better hitters and be able to handle whatever situation comes up during the year. But the experience factor has really been a big part of our success, I think, offensively.
You're taking on Mount Pleasant in the first round of the playoffs. It's going to be a 3-game series. What do you know about Mount Pleasant? Because they're not in the area. It's tough to scout them.
Well, we've been sitting on them for about 3 or 4, probably 2 or 3 weeks, and that whole district was clumped up to where everybody was very tight, and it went into that last week to where fourth team could come in first and the first team could come in fourth. And so we tried to really scout all 4 of those to just be prepared. And, we were able to see them in a play-in game against Saturday versus Sulphur Springs. And they're very good. They have a good guy in Kopic who's their number 1 guy who is a power guy with good velocity, who's got a lot of strikeouts, and we'll have to really play good to beat him. But they've got some other good arms there, and the coach does a really good job with them. And so it's a tough matchup, and we'll have to play really well that first round.
You're going to be playing games 1 and 2 Thursday and Friday night, and then game 3, if necessary, at 3 o'clock on Saturday. You're playing at a field at Poteet High School in Mesquite.
Right.
That is a turf field in the infield. So how does that prepare your infield, as they haven't maybe seen turf as much throughout the year?
Well, we've seen a little bit throughout the year, but it'll speed up the game a little bit, and I think that's good for us. And we'll have to get used to that, and we'll try to do a couple things through the week to get us ready for that. But we played over there before. I think we played Hallsville over there in 2009 and had some success over there, and so we're excited about going over there.
If you're able to beat Mount Pleasant, the bracket doesn't get any easier for you moving forward. You have a possibility of facing the number 2 team of the area in that second round of the playoffs, in Corsicana possibly. So obviously not looking too far ahead, but with your team that they're going to have to fight night in and night out, and there's not going to be an easy game the rest of the way.
Well, that's really part of it this time of year. I think if you get caught up and you look at the bracket and you go, we can get these guys, and look who we got the third round, you're going to be in trouble. I mean, every round is tough, and they can slip up on you, whoever it is, and get you. And so they wouldn't be in the playoffs if they weren't any good. And so we really don't get caught up too much in looking who's in the next round. We're pretty focused on Mount Pleasant, and then hope to get through that, and then we'll see what's there the second round.
And finally, Coach, some teams that find success have trouble when things just start to turn on during the course of a game, especially a team like your team that has won 24 games, not used to being in a spot where they've lost too much. But your team has come back from behind several times throughout the course of the year. How does that help them to be prepared for those playoff situations where maybe the first couple of innings, some fluke things happens, all of a sudden you find yourself in a hole?
Well, you're exactly right, but this team's battled all year long, and we have been in some situations, to where we're behind going into the 6th or 7th inning, and so we're used to playing in a tight game, and it doesn't scare us. And if we get behind early or we get behind late, we always feel like we got a chance to make a run at them, and if we do make a run and get back on top, we feel like we can finish it out and win it.
Well, Coach Gatewood, good luck with the rest of the playoffs,
Appreciate
and hopefully for McKinney North, it'll be a long playoff season.
I hope so.
The McKinney North Bulldogs, the champions of District 13 4A. They went 24-1 overall in the season. They head to the playoffs. They're taking on Mount Pleasant Thursday night, 7 o'clock, or is it 7:30?
7 o'clock.
It's going to be 7 o'clock at Mesquite Poteet High School. The series will be at Poteet High School, and Friday and Saturday as well. We want to thank our MISD baseball coaches for coming by on today's show, and we wish them well in the upcoming playoffs. A quick softball note for you. McKinney North ended their season after 2 hard-fought losses to Sulphur Springs. It was a great season for the Bulldogs overall, and we wish them well next season. Boyd is the only remaining MISD softball team after sweeping W.T. White in the first round. They now face Mesquite Horn in round number 2. Be sure to look for the time and dates of their series, as well as the baseball playoff games for the McKinney ISD schools. From all of us here at Sports Talk, I'm Tyler Sloan. Have a great week.